Hey, welcome back to Art with Arami. Today I'll be discussing my coloring process for Hyde. If you haven't already checked out my sketching process or inking process as to how we got here to this point, please go into my channel and you'll see the links on there. I use Copics, as you can see. For this coloring, I'll be using Copics and Prismacolors. To begin off, I'll be using neutral grays for the rock. N2, N4, N6. The N, of course, stands for neutral. So it took me about 38 minutes to color this one. Obviously, the video won't be that long. I'll be speeding it up and slowing down as we see fit. Cool, let's give it a whirl. After I was done with the rock, I moved on to the adventure. I kept on using grays, but I went into a different family. I used warms. The warm gray so I can distinguish between the rock and the adventure. I use a W5 and a W7, and I go back and forth with these so that I can blend. You know, at the end of the day, they're Copics. That's the beauty of Copics, that you're able to blend very well with them. These alcohol-based markers are everything. And so now at this point, I start working on the land. You know, also again, with the grays, this time I have neutral grays. So again, start with the lightest and into the darkest. N0, N1, N2. And you build on top, you layer it, you build and you build and you build, and eventually you build a great contrast. A lot of grays in a lot of these pieces, a lot of grays, but different grays. And so it helps it, you know? It helps distinguish different items, different things. And so now we're gonna work on the tiny little shirt that you see the rodent there wearing. Believe it or not, I'm gonna try to pump 3 different greens into it. Remember, you gotta build. You gotta build so it can look real and not look flat. So I start with the YG03. I then go to a YG13. And then finally, YG95. The YG stands for Yellow Green Family. Let's see how it works out. Now for his tiny little head. I'm going to even try to put even more color in there. I'm going to try to do four colors. 4 Copics, blend, build, gives shapes. You're able to form shapes and forms with different colors, even though there might not be any hard lines indicating things. So here we go. We're going to go with E00, E11, E13, and E15. And believe it or not, that E stands for earth tones. Yeah, but use it for what you're going to use it. In this case, we're building and constructing and finding forms and shapes with colors for the rodent's head. I mean, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier, right? After pumping all those colors into the head, now we're gonna try to pump a bunch of other colors into just the inner lining of his ear. The inner lining only. We're gonna go with 3 Copics, RV10, RV11, and R20. Red, violet for the RV, and red for the R. Oh boy, let's see how this turns out. Not too shabby. Okay. So now let's move it on up, and we're going to go for the background. Notice in this piece, I didn't draw no trees, I didn't draw any other elements, buildings, anything to give kind of like what's going on, right? To give it depth. So I figured for this time, I would just do a color splash. And we're gonna keep it in the gray family. So we're gonna use a C1, C3, C5. The C stands for Who Gray. Okay, so as you can see, that was a very simple process. We went from light to dark. And well, there's some sort of contrast now more than before because I added some color behind. But to really make it pop, the secret weapon, you already know what it is. The Signal Ball White Gel Impact Pen. With, of course, after that, a white Prismacolor, add shade, add light, where's the light, make things pop from foreground and background. You're gonna see how it pops. And so there you have it. Boom! It pops, right? All the little rocks. Anything that got that white outlining now looks like it's in front of that color splash in the back. Sometimes the white gel, it doesn't always come out like perfectly straight or whatever. Maybe it's my skill level. Maybe it's the gel pen. Whatever the case, sometimes I tend to come back with another inker, micron, and I go around the edges to kind of make sure that that black line I threw up in the first place is still visible, because the white gel is supposed to be around that line, not cover it completely. And so that I do a couple of little touch-ups, and I mean, that's it. That is it. This is basically finished. It's dope. I think it's dope. I like it. And so there it is, the completed version of Hide, completely colored, highlighted and all. Click a like, subscribe, the reminders, you already know how we roll. Thanks for kicking it. We'll see you next time.